original brush and nozzle and ultra-controlled gel for the toughest jobs on planet Earth. Closed captioning for News 12 is brought to you by Kenneth Nugent.
From the station that's on your side, News 12, first at 5, continues.
What a day for golf. Happening right now. 72 women are at Augusta National for the practice round of a lifetime.
That's right. We're going to take you live where Nick Proto will tell us how the competition is shaping up as we approach that final round tomorrow for the Augusta National Women's Amateur. Plus, we'll give you a look at how the city is prepping for traffic as the tournament welcomes back patrons at full capacity. It's been a while. We're glad to have everybody back.
Been a minute.
Yeah.
Been a weird couple of years.
Yes, it has. And outside, it is a much better story today than it was yesterday. We have First Alert Chief Meteorologist Riley Hale here.
Despite some clouds moving in, our high temp should be able to warm up at least into the 70s. The lake is also going to be a good place to be this weekend. Both Saturday and Sunday, very comfortable temperatures up at Clarks Hill. Low 70s both afternoons, and winds not going to be as breezy for us, so much calmer up at the lake. Have a look at a first alert already in effect next week. We'll have much more on that in just about 10 minutes.
All right, Riley, thanks. And luckily today was a lot nicer than yesterday. It did take an extra day because of the rain we saw yesterday, but we're finally down to our top 30 at the Augusta National Women's Amateur.
Yeah, they will play the final round tomorrow, but today everybody gets a chance to play the famous Augusta National. What a day for those golfers. And that's where we find our sports director, Nick Proto. Nick, how are things going out there at the big course?
Things are going great. The hustle and bustle of this morning has died down a little bit here at Augusta National as everybody finished up their second round. More than half of the 72-woman field did not make the cut, so they're just out enjoying the course today. But for the 30 who did make the cut, this is a chance to learn some of the ins and outs of this course before the strokes start to count again tomorrow. Now, we've got a good mix of newcomers and vets in the top 30. 10 women who have played this tournament before made the cut, including 5 who missed out last year. Austria's Emma Spitz is tied for third, the same place she finished last year. Beatrice Wallen and Latana Stone lead the pack at even par. Both women have played this tournament before and say they're just trying to take things one shot at a time.
I've just been trying to keep it simple. Fairways, greens, 2-putt, and kind of get up. I'm not trying to do anything special, and I mean, I know there's not a lot of birdies out there, and just trying to stay patient.
I'm just going to go out there. I know that a lot can change. It's a lot of golf left, and I'm just going to take hole by hole and shot by shot and see how far it will take me.
So Wallen and Stone lead the way, but there are plenty of women still in the hunt. 15 players are within 3 shots of the lead, including West Columbia's Jensen Castle, who sits in a tie for 9th at 3 over par. We'll have more from Augusta National coming up on News 12 at 6 o'clock.
An amazing day out there for them. With round 2 finishing up today, it meant a later start for practice rounds at Augusta National.
And every player, whether they make the cut or not, does get a chance to play the famous course before tomorrow's final round there. Meredith Anderson joins us now from Augusta National. And Meredith, this is a closed practice for these women.
Right. We could watch them on the practice range, but once they teed off, no patrons, no cameras. They were alone. It was a pretty special day for them. And while the first half of the day was just about making the top 30, the second half of the day for many of them was just about making memories. They got to experience this golf course like any golf fan would love to.
This course is iconic. It's steeped in tradition, and it's just a dream to be able to play here.
If you recognize her, that's Dylan Dreyer from the Today Show on NBC, an avid golfer herself who is here to cover the Women's Am. She says her husband got her into golf when they were first dating, but she wishes there had been something like this when she was growing up so she could turn on the TV, see young women competing on golf's biggest stage, this beautiful storied golf course, and hey, maybe she could join. She said she knows she would have said, wait a minute, I want to do that too. She says that is the gift the Augusta National Women's Am is giving the world of golf, growing the game by empowering young women to play it. She says she cannot wait to watch them this weekend. And then, just like us, she has her own Masters tradition when it's tournament time.
I just can't wait to watch great golf. I mean, all the way around. You know, this weekend, next weekend, it's just, I get excited. I saved the little plastic wrappers from my cheese sandwiches from 2019. I mean, I try to wash them as best you can, but I still have those. I have the cups from 2019. We always have a master's party with friends of ours, and we bring out, you know, the cups and everything. So I love everything about this time of year.
Y'all, she saves the cups, just like us, right? Isn't that hilarious? But back to the women's AM with the emphasis on the AM. Dylan and I talked about the importance of these women not being pros yet. Out here, that has some major significance. I'll talk about that coming up in the next half hour on News 12 at 6 o'clock.
I'm really impressed she saves the cups since she lives in New York City
I
apartment.
know.
That is some precious real estate, but shows how much it means to her. Meredith, thanks.
All right.
With the tournament comes traffic, and it's been a few years since Augusta National has been at full capacity for patrons. But this year, we are back to the normal swing of things finally, and that means the city's been hard at work to try to make sure driving around is as smooth as possible for everyone. Well,
yeah, we're used to seeing traffic like this around this time outside of our station, but I want to show you the view right here behind me. We got some cones down there, but a lot of this traffic is really starting to stack up. It seems like we're starting to see that influx of drivers here on Riverwatch Parkway. Now, we're only going to see those numbers start to grow with this new plan that's set because there are several changes. If you are coming from Atlanta on I-20, that Washington Road exit is going to be closed, which means a lot of these drivers are going to be right here on Riverwatch Parkway. Also, the second change, Berkman's Road, in the afternoon when a lot of those patrons are leaving the golf course, that's going to be turned into a one-way heading south away from the course. So it's designed to get as many people out as quickly as possible. Now, a lot of these Augusta traffic engineers have been working on this for so long. They say these plans do not happen overnight. They've been working on getting signs and cones out for the past 3 weeks. They monitor everything going on around Augusta National from their traffic center. It has 40 different cameras watching roads around the area to make sure things are running smoothly. If there's any kind of traffic jam or accident, they can quickly divert traffic and change those lights. They're also handing out some very valuable advice to a lot of these drivers.
Be patient, have a little grace, be kind, and then also don't use your GPS. We try to manage it as best we can, and if they get really busy in one area, we can kind of divert traffic to a different area to try to make sure no one sits in traffic for too long.
Yeah, and these traffic plans are actually set to start tomorrow. You can see that the cones aren't out yet, but if you are driving tomorrow, make sure that you know what those routes are. It's almost like a dry run for them before the tournament week. Also, you heard him talk about a GPS. Don't use it. We'll explain why coming up on News 12 at 6 o'clock.
A big vote today on a federal ban on marijuana. We're going to break down the vote and where that measure goes from here. Riley.
High pressure's moving in.
Possess 2992. Paid for by CCIA.
97 tons of litter. That's how much South Carolina's Department of Transportation employees got off the road on Wednesday. Workers in every county in the state out there doing this.
It's all part of their spring spruce up campaign, and they'll do a similar cleanup this fall. But we do appreciate them out there making things look so nice on the roadways. Taking a look out
Monday of next week. Past Wednesday and Thursday, those rain chances do go down. So Friday into next weekend, looking a little bit cooler than average, but dry.
All right, thanks, Riley. House lawmakers voted to end the federal ban on marijuana. It was a vote split almost entirely down party lines.
And as Michael George explains, this would decriminalize a drug that has tens of thousands of people serving time.
The bill to legalize marijuana brought passionate debate from House lawmakers.
This is an important, fair piece of legislation. This is a piece of garbage. I oppose legislation.
Republicans argue the U.S. has more urgent priorities.
Record crime, record inflation, record gas prices, record number of illegal immigrants crossing our southern border. And what are Democrats doing today? Legalizing drugs.
The bill passed 220 to 204, almost entirely on party lines. It calls for eliminating criminal penalties related to marijuana and for establishing a process to clear criminal records. Democrats pointing out that Black Americans are more than 4 times as likely to be arrested for cannabis-related crimes.
We must end this failed policy of marijuana prohibition, which has led to the shattering of so many lives, primarily Black and brown people.
most states have already legalized marijuana for either medical or recreational use, and studies find a majority of Americans support that trend. Stephen Post works for a nonprofit fighting to free people imprisoned for marijuana crimes.
To have someone ripped away from the life that they're living, from yourself, from their family, from their children, you just can't describe what that does to someone. It's very traumatic.
The bill still needs to pass the Senate, where it faces long odds for breaking through Republican opposition. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
Democratic Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer crafted his own bill that would legalize marijuana altogether and has committed to moving forward with it this spring.
Mental health may not always be the most comfortable thing to talk about, especially for teenagers, but there's a new way aimed at helping them at their fingertips.
The live win the AM.
Talking about depression can be hard at any age, but especially for teenagers. Now a nonprofit group of counselors is volunteering to meet with teens looking for help.
As technology reporter Jamie Tucker explains, they do it in a discreet and anonymous way.
Teenagers today do not like talking on the phone, at least to people they don't know, but they will text. And a group of volunteer counselors from around the country are using text messaging to communicate with teenagers who just need someone to talk to. The Crisis Text Line is a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week service where teenagers can text with a licensed counselor about whatever they're struggling with. When a teenager wants help or feels helpless, they can text HOME to this number, 741-741, and a counselor will text back, usually within minutes. A sample they've received over the years. I have no one to talk about it. I would like to stop cutting myself, and I want to die or run away. I can't take my family. Problems with eating disorders, depression, anxiety, self-harm, and isolation are pretty common issues. It's especially helpful for teenagers who don't want anyone to hear them talking on the phone. Text messages can be sent quietly and in private. Crisis Text Line has added WhatsApp messaging, so those conversations are encrypted. It's also available on the website, crisistextline.com, where people can chat through Facebook Messenger. Once again, text the word HOME to the number 741-741 to be connected with a counselor almost immediately. Crisis Text Line is also seeking counselors to volunteer their time to answer some of the text messages. Since 2013, Crisis Text Line has handled well over 7 million conversations with teenagers seeking help. That's What the Tech. I'm J.B. Tucker.
And the Crisis Text Line is a nonprofit that does rely on volunteers and donations.
But this service is 100% free for teenagers who are looking for help. Great way to use technology
good idea.
For a good cause. Wheels Up is partnering with Golden Harvest Food Bank, providing meals to our area. They're making a $100,000 donation to the food bank as part of their Meals Up initiative.
Almost 20 people from Wheels Up joined Golden Harvest today for a day of service, and together the two groups served food at Master's Table Soup Kitchen. They also held a mobile distribution in Aiken.
It's incredible. I mean, it's an incredible feeling. I'll tell you, when we did this last year, it was one of the most rewarding and fulfilling things that I've ever been a part of.
It's just a great way to serve together right before that tournament and just to partner up and serve our neighbors.
And Golden Harvest says this donation will help them provide more than 33,000 meals. The Book Tavern downtown officially open at their new location. The bookstore closed down for a couple of weeks as they moved all of their things further down Broad Street. And can you imagine all the boxes it took to move all those books? That was a heavy load. But now they are right next to Nacho Mama's, and the owner says a space like this has been a goal of his for decades.
Like I said, I've been dreaming about this space for 20 years. The high bookshelves, the ladder racks, more open tables. We're really excited to get going again.
They'll have an official grand opening on the 30th.
Well, dry weather will stick around this weekend, which means our pollen counts are going to be going back up. Definitely have the Benadryl ready to go. Now look at that 7-day forecast just after the break.
On your side.
Breaking news just into our newsroom. A man accused of murdering an Augusta man now behind bars in Pinellas County, Florida. Carlos Figueroa charged with murder in the death of 25-year-old Alan Newsom, who was shot and hit over the head with a blunt object on Ulm Road back on March the 18th. Newsom worked as a nurse at the Eisenhower Army Medical Center at Fort Gordon. 3 other people were already arrested for his death, and we're just now learning U.S. Marshals helped take Figueroa into custody today in Florida.
Weather-wise this after effect Tuesday night into Wednesday.
All right, we'll keep an eye on next week for sure. Riley, thanks very much. 18 minutes. That's how long it took some thieves to go through cars in this Grovetown neighborhood, all caught on surveillance cam. Now there's progress in this case to report. We're going to break down the latest developments from Columbia County after a short break when News 12 at 6 o'clock continues.
Nugent.
From the station that's on your side, this is News 12 at 6 o'clock.
The Friday before Masters Week and the traffic changes are just about to begin. We're on your side with what you need to know if you're trying to get around town this weekend.
Plus, the top 30 secured for the Augusta National Women's Amateur. Round 2 of the books with a practice round underway as we speak at Augusta National Golf Club.
And we're there live. Sports Director Nick Proto and our own Meredith Anderson bringing us team coverage from Augusta National.
And our Wrdw also standing by with those traffic plans you need to know about before you head out tomorrow. But we want to start things off with First Alert Chief Meteorologist Riley Hale because all eyes are on the weather. Riley.
Yeah, luckily the weather is going to cooperate for us through this week. We'll look at the rest of the weekend forecast and already a first alert in effect next week. Much more on that in just about 10 minutes.
Riley, thanks so much. So the field is set for the final round of the Augusta National Women's Amateur. The second round wrapping up earlier today, securing that very elite top 30.
Yes, exciting times. And now all 72 women are out at Augusta National today for a practice round ahead of tomorrow. Whether they made the cut or not, they did get to practice out there today. And that's where we find Sports Director Nick Proto live now with a closer look at that top 30.
Well, it is an absolutely beautiful day here at Augusta National for the practice round of the Women's Amateur. It's been a busy day for these women. Many of them had to get up early and finish their second rounds over at Champions Retreat. After 36 holes, only 29 of the 30 spots had been claimed, leaving 4 women to go to a playoff for that 30th and final spot. And after 4 holes of playoff golf, it was Paula Scholes-Hansen winning the playoff, securing a spot in tomorrow's top 30. Scholes-Hansen is one of 20 newcomers playing in the final round. One woman who's no stranger to this course is Austria's Emma Spitz. Spitz has played in all 3 Augusta National Women's Amateur tournaments. She finished 30th in 2019. Last year she finished tied for 3rd, and that's where she sits heading into tomorrow's final round. She's leaning on her experience with this course to help her tomorrow.
The key, I think, is it's really good to hit the fairways because if you're on the fairways and you can go for pins and use the slopes to your advantage. I think once you miss the fairways, it's kind of really hard to put yourself in position on the greens. So I'm just gonna try to hit a lot of fairways and hit some greens and maybe make a few putts.
West Columbia's Jensen Castle has a different type of experience out here. She's a first-timer in this tournament, but she's played the course before. A member brought her out in December, so she's been able to get a feel for this course. Today she talked about what that experience was like and what a realistic score is for her tomorrow.
It's amazing. Super pure, really hilly actually. Greens are extremely grainy, but it's an awesome golf course. Hopefully around even. I don't know where the pin locations are or anything like that, and I haven't seen the course today. But the course is pure, so anything around even, I'm sure.
I am joined now by News 12's Meredith Anderson. And Meredith, today wasn't just about making the cut, also about making some memories. All 72 women got the chance to play this course today, even if they didn't make the cut. So Augusta National always trying to grow the game of golf.
Yeah, it's just an incredible experience for all of them, and Augusta National really just thinking about the game always. First, it was the kids competing in drive, chip, and putt. Then in 2019, the addition of the Women's Am, adding in the lineup to the lead-in to the Masters. Augusta National always thinking about the future of golf, and today, the future is female. And girls all over the world are watching.
I feel like if I would have turned on the TV and saw a tournament like this at beautiful Augusta National, I think I would have been like, wait, what's that? I'm interested. I love sports. Let me get into that.
But NBC's Dylan Dreyer says she never saw anything like this growing up because there wasn't anything like this. Not featuring young girls anyway.
I can't even fathom. I mean, 15 years old, I'm trying to think what I was even doing. And, seeing some of these girls, 15, 16, I mean, the oldest is 23. And that's still so young. They have their whole life ahead of them, and it's all getting started here.
Here, on golf's biggest stage, on links forever linked to Bobby Jones, the greatest amateur to ever play the game. Dylan tells me it's a dream just to be here in person to cover the women's Am. She can't even imagine what it would be like to play in it.
Even the men, like the top names in men's golf, get nervous before you play at Augusta National. It's just, it comes with the territory. And then there are these young girls who are going to feel those same nerves, because this course is iconic. It's steeped in tradition, and it's just a dream to be able to play here.
All 72 get the chance to play here, but only 30 will get to compete here. Today's practice was a closed practice, meaning it was just them. Can you imagine being out there just by yourself, soaking it in, experiencing this golf course like very few have gotten to experience it?
Yeah, that's the last time I get to do that, because tomorrow plenty of eyes will be on them. The final round of the women's amateur will air tomorrow on NBC from noon to 3.
And we are looking forward to watching that, and you can watch that right here on NBC as well, but it will be exciting. Thanks, guys.
What a special day for all those players out there. Then we've got drive, chip, and putt to look forward to on Sunday. Practice rounds for the Masters starting Monday. Tournament week is here. The tournament starts Thursday.
It's here. It happens quickly every year. It's like, wow.
Right after the azaleas
It's
pop.
Masters
It's
week
time.
already. But as a reminder, if you're going to be out at Augusta National this weekend for the final round, you cannot bring anything on this list to the course. Cell phones, backpacks, large bags or purses, no cameras, no flags or signs, no outside food or drinks, no strollers, and no chairs with arms. It does have to be a golf chair. And if you have a smartwatch, you can wear it, but you cannot use it to make calls or texts.
So after tomorrow, it is on to Masters Week, but that traffic is already beginning to build up here. Going to give you the view from the City of Augusta Traffic Center. Those engineers have been watching cameras around the clock, handling all the crowds and cars, keeping it all moving in the right direction. Easier said than done. News 12's Will Rio live now outside our studio with a look over I-20 and Riverwatch Parkway, certainly a big part of the traffic plan. Will, you spoke with the city's traffic engineers today. What's the number one thing people need to know if they're trying to get around town next week?
Well, the one thing traffic engineers say you should not use if you're a driver is your GPS. They say the biggest thing to do is to trust those cones, trust those traffic signs that they have placed out that you can see right here behind me. Now, this has taken 3 weeks to plan out, and they say that it starts tomorrow, so if you're driving, expect those changes. They say this is some of the biggest and most challenging things that they've done in past tournaments is to get this ready after 3 years of COVID.
Nothing screams tournament week in Augusta quite like heavy traffic, orange barrels, and traffic signs posted across the city.
It's been a long process.
It's a plan that doesn't magically happen overnight.
We've been doing preparations for the last 3 weeks.
John Ussery and his team with Augusta Traffic Engineering use this room called the Traffic Center.
We're just basically watching all the traffic as it comes to and from the tournament.
They use 40 traffic cameras around Augusta National Golf Course. He and a couple other folks will closely monitor their massive screens.
Well, it's been a little more extensive than it has been the last couple of years during the COVID years, but it's going to be very similar to what we saw in 2019 prior to COVID.
On any other week, Washington Road sees 50,000 cars in 24 hours. During tournament week, it can be more than 80,000, so he wanted to share some advice to drivers.
Be patient, have a little grace, be kind, and then also don't use your GPS.
Following the traffic signs and cones is the best practice. Your GPS will probably only make things more frustrating for you.
It's going to tell you to do something that I won't allow you to do, and you're going to get stuck somewhere you don't want to be.
And being stuck in a bad position is definitely what you don't want to do, especially when there's so much traffic like we're seeing on Riverwatch Parkway. It's definitely going to pick up. One thing that the city of Augusta says you can do is download the Augusta Maps route. That's found on the city's website. Make sure you study it. Make sure you know those routes so you don't end up in those sticky situations before heading out on the road.
So GPS not your friend in Augusta during Masters Week. Great advice there. Will, thanks for the update there.
Just into our newsroom in the last half hour, a fourth suspect is in custody, charged in the murder of a 25-year-old nurse from Augusta. Richmond County deputies tell us authorities arrested 29-year-old Carlos Figuera in Florida. He's the fourth suspect arrested and charged in the murder of 25-year-old Alan Newsom. Newsom was a nurse at Eisenhower Army Medical Center at Fort Gordon. Still ahead on News 12 at 6 o'clock, it is known as the slap heard around the world. But hear how it's inspiring a local councilwoman to share her own story next.
And we are going to enjoy dry weather next week. Those storms rolling through Tuesday through Thursday.
Riley, thanks a lot. It's a good time to be playing great golf, and that sure rings true for golf pro and Aiken native Kevin Kisner. I sat down with his wife Brittany this week to ask what Masters Week looks like for the Kisners.
We always feel so lucky that he can compete in the Masters, his childhood dream, right here in his hometown. It's the only event he gets to play in a PGA Tour event and a major championship and sleep in his own bed, so that's pretty special.
You know they're looking forward to it. The Kisners, by the way, are known to give back to our community. Just yesterday, the Couples Foundation presenting that $10,000 check to the North Augusta Cultural Arts Council to help with scholarships at 2 local dance studios. And that's just one of 15 local organizations awarded grants by the Kisners. We're going to talk all about that in my latest one-on-one interview, including how Brittany and Kevin met over in Athens. You can catch that Sunday morning right here on News 12.
Wow! It has been dubbed the slap heard around the world. Actor Will Smith slapping comedian Chris Rock at last weekend's Oscars. Smith stormed the stage after a joke about his wife Jada Pinkett Smith, who suffers hair loss from alopecia. The incident on the national stage now has a local councilwoman speaking up about her own experience with the condition. Our Claire Allen is here with how she's using her platform to inspire others.
For women, our hair is our crown.
For so many, it's a symbol of their womanhood. But women with alopecia, it can mean so much more.
Oh, it's just hair. It was just a hair joke. But then for me was the alopecia piece of it.
Grovetown Councilwoman Soretta Smith is opening up about her journey with alopecia on her recent podcast. She's discussing the impact Chris Rock's infamous joke has on awareness.
You know, it was a trigger for me.
The councilwoman also interviewed a woman who suffers from the same form of alopecia that Jada Pinkett Smith has.
I was hoping that we could find and start a dialogue and get people to understand that to some people it was more than just a joke.
She wanted to shift the negative energy to focus on something that is real and affects millions of women every day.
We want to uplift people, inspire people, and we have to use the platforms that we have wisely.
Smith's main goal was to bring awareness to the condition and promote self-love along with confidence for all women on this journey.
As a culture, as a society, we have a responsibility to lift one another up.
In Augusta, Claire Allen on your side.
And this disorder affects men and women alike. Right now in the U.S., about 2.5 million people have alopecia. If you want to listen to Councilwoman Smith's podcast, we have the link listed right across your screen. We'll also attach it to this story posted on our website, wrdw.com. You can also check out our app.
Also had a stolen car from Grovetown just recovered and returned. The connection to more car break-ins in a neighborhood right down the road coming up next.
The live
Wrdw has my complete and total endorsement.
New developments after a string of car break-ins in a Columbia County neighborhood.
This video is from a doorbell camera in the Wrights Farm neighborhood just outside of Grovetown. Shows several suspects driving up to homes and searching their cars. This is early Monday morning.
And deputies tell us at least 4 cars were broken into. Small items were stolen.
Now we're learning about a car stolen the same night, just 7 minutes down the road. News 12 Celeste Springer is at Grovetown PD, where that car is just getting back into officers' custody.
Guys, officers just got back today recovering this stolen car from North Carolina, and take a look at this damage. They and the owner say this is something brand new, but they're lucky to have their car back. It's a mystery what carjackers hit while driving the stolen car. The Grovetown Department of Public Safety says they broke into cars in the Joyner Crossing, Wrights Farm, and an area of Richmond County all in the same night. They say this likely was not the thieves' first
first rodeo.
We were able to determine they were only in the city for 18 minutes.
The owner of this car did not want to go on camera, but police say the string of crimes Monday are likely organized.
All indications now are this was a ring, if you will, that came down out of North Carolina. And that's not, sad to say, but that's not uncommon.
But a piece of good news for car owners. These cases were not a smash and grab, meaning something as easy as locking your doors can help protect you.
These that we are seeing are not smash and grab. These are folks that are pulling on door handles because they know that most folks are not securing their vehicles.
Ultimately, the Grovetown Department of Public Safety was able to track the stolen car through their GPS and other stolen credit cards. They hope this can serve as a warning to other car owners.
They work hard for what they have, and it's just a shame that this happens.
No word yet on who the suspects are in this case, but of course, when we find out, we'll be keeping all of you at home updated. In Grovetown, Celeste Springer on your side.
And if you have any information, you're asked to call the Columbia County Sheriff's Office. The number right here is 706-541-2800. Another Aiken tradition is back. The 106th Aiken Horse Show underway this weekend over at Hitchcock Woods. The competition's back after 2 years off. The biggest fundraiser for the Hitchcock Woods Foundation, which maintains and preserves that beautiful piece of property, nearly 2.5 times the size of Central Park. This show runs through Sunday.
And luckily, the weather looks great through Sunday.